So, Luke thing with the original actors, but like with our new big three to like strengthen the sequel trilogy, they could do like a Rey movie. Obviously, Poe would be Rogue Squadron, and then
Mm,
Finn, like a Finn searching for a Jedi type thing,
mm,
and that buildup could be really good because with Finn, I feel like, for example, you could have him searching for those Jedi and those Force users, and then with Rey, the cool thing with Rey, I feel like, is that's where you have a lot of opportunities to have your Mark Hamill, your Hayden Christensen, your Ewan McGregor, or your Ahsoka, even those type of characters, Force Ghosts, or even say if Ahsoka survives, like those type of characters coming into play in those in like a Rey standalone movie, and then eventually in like an Avengers Endgame type deal, because here's always been my like little thing with even the Mandoverse right now. I still think there is a possibility that Thrawn could survive and basically kind of skip around the sequel trilogy and then be a villain post episode 9.
right.
Huh. That's interesting. I don't know if you guys realize, but I lost like power for a second.
Figured happened before.
Yeah.
I thought so.
All right. So what do you say we talk about something in the past? Let's break down this trailer because we've gone an hour and we haven't even got to the trailer. There's so many slides I want to see and talk
Yep.
about. All right. So getting into our first one here. If my buttons work correctly. Oh, that's not working out because my power went out. I could do it manually now. Okay, so our first image here of Cassian Andor. I sent you guys the screenshots. I don't know if you have access to them right now or not.
Honestly, haven't even watched the trailer yet, so it's gonna be very new to me.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well, the first shot here, we have a young Cassian Andor and this guardian of his with this stick. I think it's pretty cool. It looks like this is where we're seeing the difference between filming on location and filming on the volume, right?
Mm.
Like that's the big difference here. As you can see, like this is, I don't even know where they filmed this. I think it was in England or something like that. So to see that happen, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. What do you have to say about this one, Ben?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've read a lot of the Cassian show was shot in Pinewood over there. So yeah, I mean, this shot, it's like you said, it's kind of cool, sets the environmental tone, and clearly, even from this shot, I feel like you can tell a difference between the other Disney Plus shows. I think. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways in general. Like we'll obviously like break down the trailer fully, but I feel like one of the biggest takeaways overall is just visually you can tell this was not shot the same as even Mando or Boba or Kenobi.
Oh yeah, it's definitely got a striking kind of feel about it. Getting deeper into this, looking at the next image here, we see a little bit more of like the culture of his tribe of people. I don't even know what to explain it as, but I don't know if this could be his father that we're looking at or what's going on here. Because this character is pretty prominent. I don't know if he's the chief of his people or what's going on, but you see that they have these huts and we see them using like different weapons faceted from just like the trees and different things like that. But then he also has, this literally looks like an AK-47 if I'm being honest.
I mean, it's a gorgeous shot. I mean, like even looking at the pictures from this morning or this afternoon when you sent this, like it's a gorgeous shot. I mean, like I said, it looks like it's not shot on the stage. It looks like it's actually on location. I mean, if it's on a stage, they did a good job convincing me because it looks like it's on a real location. But yeah, it looks like that this is like very much a guerrilla type unit of people, like whether they're defending a small village or they have like a little militia. So it's cool to see this.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. I think I feel like don't forget some of these shots also could be involved with say Saul Guerrera's people
Mm,
as well. Like I think that's the thing to keep in mind with just in general as we're breaking down this trailer is like some of these shots could be with I can't think of Saul Guerrero's group of people's name, but with that
Partisans.
the partisans. Yep, the partisans. There you go. I feel like we're for sure going to be getting hints of that, or like there are potential hints of that in the trailer that will eventually play out on screen.
Yeah, so going in a little deeper here, we have. Now, I think this is Cassian's mom, perhaps. I would see that that's pretty likely. She looks like she's a prominent character in a lot of the shots here that we're gonna see tonight. It looks like she's looking at something that's coming towards her from the sky, but she also looks like she's on some kind of speeder bike or something. So I thought that's interesting there. But
Oh,
yeah.
oh yeah, like you said, I think that's probably going to end up being his mom, I would guess. And based on you know, what we've heard so far, like people seeing the first 3 or 4 episodes of the show, and especially with the show, say being, with it being a 3 episode premiere, it makes me wonder if the first 3 episodes are kind of like flashback ish. You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of like how the beginning of Rogue One was, maybe. Like maybe it'll
Right.
be something like that, where it's like, we get 2.5 episodes of build up, and then like it boom flashes forward, and it's like Cassian in present day, like 5 years before Rogue One type deal.
Yeah, I mean, if they utilize flashback, which I assume they probably will, some way, shape, or form, I'm fine with it. Again, we've seen it done effectively and it done appropriately. So we just saw it with Obi-Wan. We always reference the Arrow TV show. They do a really good
Yeah.
job in that show. So I'm excited if there's going to be flashbacks, because again, and I know we'll get to some of the pictures in the future in a minute, but like just seeing the old rotunda again, just the shots in general. You seeing this Star Destroyer right here, the one you just popped up, Chris. Like, this is a gorgeous shot. This is Star Wars to me. Like, that's a beautiful shot of a Star Destroyer, and I love the scale of it.
Oh yeah, this is the money shot for me out of this trailer. Like this, remember the promotion for Rogue One showed us some of the best Star Destroyer shots in those trailers of like the Star Destroyer like coming out of the shadows of the Death Star and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
we're doing it again here with this TV show.
Right. Well, do you guys remember, speaking of promotion of Rogue One, and this is what reminds me of it, do you remember, I think it might have been Comic-Con or Star Wars Celebration, maybe 2012 or 2013, whenever they showed like that trailer of the idea of Rogue One.
Oh yeah.
And it was Obi-Wan Kenobi, Alec Guinness, like speaking of the Empire in the old days, and how they had the camera pan up, and it was like that big silhouette or like back
Yep.
shot of the Death Star on the forest planet, dude. That's what this reminds me of, kind of too. And I'm like, that's fire. Like, I'm getting goosebumps even talking about it. That's how dope that particular trailer was, and that was that was thrown together quick.
That was
Oh,
like
yeah,
a
this is-
concept like of what
Yeah.
it could be.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
this is what Star Wars would look like in real life, to me. If we were standing there, that's what we would see.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you both said, this is like the money shot of the trailer, I believe, just because it sets the tone. It's like, also what characters are sitting here looking up at the Star Destroyer flying. There's that. And what's the context of this? Is this maybe they give us Empire Day or something, like something along
Yeah.
those lines.
My
Just
yeah.
anything.
My thoughts are like this might be this civilization's first look at the Empire and first look at like space travel for the most part, because I mean they're living in freaking huts unless they're like on the run from something. Like they don't look like they have access to a lot of technology. So for them to see this, it's like us as if we're seeing aliens for the first time. Maybe like what the hell is this? You know?
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's why I'm like, this is what it would be like for us if a UFO popped out of nowhere. If they actually gave us this look, like it'd be amazing. It'd be frightening, And this is actually on my personal laptop that I use for our podcast and stuff. I have a file that I have for like, how when you can do like screenshots or like screen rotations of your background on your computer. I have like 30 photos of Star Wars in real life, of different images. And there's one of a Star Destroyer floating over like New York Island. So imagine a Star Destroyer floating over Manhattan Island or, Jersey, Chris, where you live. Like imagine seeing that from like, across the Hudson River and the Star Destroyer. How dope is
Yep.
that? And that's the look we see. So
Damn. Yeah, so this image here, I don't. It looks like some kind of quarry, but I guess the way that the bricks are laid, it almost looks like the Yavin base. Like I'm getting like Yavin base feel. I know it isn't that,
I
but
was
it's just
thinking, what's the planet that they had in Rogue One where the oh my God, where they save Jen?
Oh,
It's early on. It's not. It's like
oh
not
Wobani.
Wobani. Yes, it kind of reminded me of this planet a little bit.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that's
could
a really
see
good call, actually. It looks visually very similar, especially like in the distance.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
But it's a
another
gorgeous shot.
there. Yeah, I mean this is great cinematography so far from what we've seen. Now this is a young Cassian. This reminds me a lot of The Force Awakens. Like he's got like that kind of staff that Rey sort of had, and it looks like he's basically sneaking around, clambering up something. So it's neat getting the full story of Cassian Andor. You know, we get to see where he ends up, obviously at the end of his life, but we're going to see his beginnings and what would, give him the rebellious attitude that eventually gets him to join the Rebel Alliance.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I'm excited. Like I said, I'll go back and watch this trailer and see it play out in live action, obviously. But just seeing the images, yeah, this is good stuff to see.
Oh, for sure. Milton, just a fun fact for you to throw in before we get to the next image. I'm sure Chris knows what I'm going to mention, but just to keep in mind with this show, so it came out like recently in canon. So Cassian during Rogue One is 26. So in this show, he would be 21 and he's getting played by a 42-year-old.
He don't look like it though.
Yeah, no, I know.
Like,
It's just fun, fun thing to think about.
yeah, Diego Luna, I
He
think
looks young though.
yeah, he has unicorn blood, or he made a pact with the devil to look young.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, this is the one that I know you're gonna like, Milton. Boom. The rotunda of the Senate.
Yeah, that's tight. Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is what we were missing. Like, this is what we were missing. I felt like, and this is pre New Hope, obviously. So this is very much during the rise of the Empire. So this makes so much sense. So much sense. And on top of that, we should have gotten what Coruscant post Empire looked like in the sequel trilogy. So I thank God they're giving us this, because this is, we all love seeing Coruscant. We love the rotunda scenes and seeing what that looks like now, especially after, Palpatine and Yoda wreck shop, spoilers, and in Revenge of the Sith. So like, this is a dope shot. I just love seeing this, because this is now who everyone knows this film, this movie. This is the scene that we get whenever the Empire is fully formed, or when it's becoming the early stage of the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone remembers that shot of him being panned up and his hands going up and that clapping. Like,
Yep.
it's giving me goosebumps now by talking about it. That's how dope this shot is.
Oh,
Yep.
I feel like for sure with this shot we'll get Emperor. I feel like we got to get Palpatine to a degree.
Do you honestly think we'll get
or maybe a hologram.
Yeah, I'm thinking we'll get a hologram.
Definitely a
I think
hologram.
for this show they'll want to keep the focus off of like
Yeah.
those major characters.
Or like I could see maybe even a thing where, you have Cassian spying and you hear he's outside of the chambers or something, and then you hear Palpatine but don't see him potentially. Like maybe something like
Right.
that. But man, I love the whole rotunda shot. And like one thing, like in the future, if we ever have like all this advanced technology, our government better switch the entire like Senate chambers to this. Like,
Oh my God,
like this is just great. Like I've always loved it ever since we first saw it in Phantom Menace. It's just iconic.
No, I agree. And back to my whole non-Palpatine thing, I think maybe I'm misunderstanding this, or if I'm forgetful, but I believe whenever he became the Emperor, wasn't he less out of the
Oh
public
yeah,
eye?
he was
Oh,
more
yes.
secluded. That's
Yeah,
true.
so I don't think we'll see him much in the public eye. So that's why I think it wouldn't make sense unless something happens where like he needs to make an appearance once in a while.
Yeah,
'Cause he
like,
was very protected from the public.
he even like changed his appearance with the holograms, like to actually appear younger and things like that. So yeah, he was very much secluded and tried to get his other people to do everything for him for the most part.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Yeah, this is exciting to see more Coruscant in general. We'll see more of this throughout this trailer breakdown here. This is a younger Cassian. He's in an Imperial installation of some sort. So we see how adept he was at sneaking around Scarif Base. Well, he's had experience apparently, and we get to see him as a youngin going around here with some fancy yellow tunic of some sort. So I'm excited to see like his first foray into like if he's gonna get captured, how this is gonna go, why is he doing this? Is he just like adventurous? What's going on?
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm from what I'm seeing thus far, I'm impressed. I think this should be a really good show. I cannot wait to watch this trailer like after this podcast.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be really cool just seeing how he sneaks around and stuff because I feel like with the tone of this show, with the tone of the character, even from the beginning of Rogue One, like I could easily see him being on an early, like say spying type mission and like losing his partner and then dealing with like the consequences of like, oh, this is like real life. This isn't just like, some easy little rebellion I'm joining.
hmm Chris, I think you're muted.
Chris, you're muted.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Look at this, the Cassian Andor without a beard. Interesting. Because I believe we see him with the beard later on, so I wonder where in this life he's at this point.
Yeah, he looks like he's 26 to me. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. He looks
Right, he
really
does
good in that
look
shot.
he does look a lot younger here.
Yeah.
Huh.
No,
Yeah,
now was he in the Empire at one point, correct?
I guess so. We didn't know that, but maybe he was like Han Solo and he
looks-
actually was part of the Empire, maybe.
It looks like he was part of the Imperial.
The voice-
you know.
The narration says basically that in the
Yeah.
trailer.
Right. No, I'm curious to see how they're going to develop this character because what like 2 seasons potentially.
Yeah,
At least, yeah.
It's 2 seasons. First season is a year 1. Second
Yeah.
season is 12 episodes, and then like you have it broken up into 4 parts, like episodes 1 through 3 are year 2, then 3, 4, etc.
Right. Okay.
All right. So then moving on here, we have Phase 2 clones in live action. How cool is this? I mean, we got a taste of that from Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I can't get enough of seeing the Phase 2 clones. And they are looking more like the ones from Bad Batch, where there is no individuality of these clones. They are all just stark white, marching down like Nazi troopers or something like that. It's pretty frightening, actually, when you look at it in the trailer of them
Now,
just
are
marching
these-
through.
Now you said these are Phase 2 clones.
Yep.
Okay, just to make sure I'm correct or I'm understanding this correct. So they can still like wreck people, unlike the stormtroopers. Because stormtroopers can't wreck nobody.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And it looks like we have that same character from the second screenshot I showed you of the guy in the village with the AK-47. Yep.
Yeah, I see. It's just it'll be interesting to see how pivotal that character will end up being. Because I mean we've already seen him a few times in the trailer, so it makes me wonder. Again, who knows? Maybe this is a character who's central in the first 3 episodes, since it is a 3-episode premiere. Like maybe he'll be like a main type character with Cassian.
All right, my PC's having issues because I can't like select multiple things at once. That's why this is going so slow at this point.
You're
So have patience because I'm sort of losing it with this computer.
Well, no worries. When you're transitioning that next photo, just to throw out there to our listeners, another thing that came out this week was Andor, was Diego Luna was getting interviewed, and he actually confirmed that the first 3 episodes are about 2 hours long total for all 3 combined. So he basically said it's like a mini movie is kind of what he compared it to. So basically each episode is going to be about
45 minutes.
Yeah, about 45 minutes. So,
Yeah.
knock off 5 minutes each for the credits. So each, we're talking, it's going to be like an hour 45, hour 45,
which
hour
is
50.
fine.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
why, and we'll get into this next photo you posted, Chris. This is why I love the 3-episode premiere, is because you need to set the tone on what the show's going to be.
Well, see, Diego even mentioned that. He said you got to set the tone, and he said we have new characters we want to introduce to the audience, and we want to be able to flesh them out versus just throwing the characters at the audience and hoping they understand who they are.
Right. And again, they must have been listening to me over at Lucasfilm, because I've been saying this for how long?
I was gonna say, you've been saying it since we started this.
Like, you can't, like, because if their sole focus is miniseries and just doing limited series, let's say limited is 12 episodes or whatever it is, then give us 12 episodes but release a chunk. Like the boys do a good job at that. The boys have an 8-episode season. They give us the first 3, and we're like, all right, greatest show ever, because it's so good, and they're all 3 an hour long a piece. So there we go. Follow the boys format. It works. This shot right here, I love it. Like, first of all, those Death Troopers are fire. That's probably one of my favorite parts about Rogue One, are the Death Troopers and how they communicate. So seeing those black troopers, dude, I need to get a helmet or a suit.
Yeah, they have that warbled up, jumbled speech, so like other people can't hear their tactics. Like, that is such a cool idea. Like, they're the black ops, like soldiers, like go in there, like the Navy SEALs, and just silence whoever they need to do.
Oh, for sure. Like, the Death Troopers, to me, they remind me of, like, what you'd imagine, like, Star Wars' version of, like, the Spartans from Halo, like, would be, or even Call of Duty, like, like the special force type troopers. And it's just they're so awesome, and like, fingers crossed, like, we get to see them in action like they were in Rogue One, just because, like, there's always that little chance with Star Wars, like, hey, we're throwing cool looking characters in just to make merch. But I think
Phasma.
Phasma. I think with Tony Gilroy doing this, that that there's a really good chance, like, we're gonna get some awesome Death Trooper scenes. I feel like. Yeah,
and here's the thing: I don't need to see them with their helmets off. Like, I don't care. Like, I want to see them keep their helmets on and wreck people.
Yeah.
Like, because these stormtroopers, out of all the troopers we've ever seen, I would say the only ones I'm actually scared of are like the clones from like the Clone Wars show and obviously the movies. But I've never been scared of the stormtroopers until I see these guys. I'm like, okay, especially when they're with Vader and when they're with Tarkin or with Krennic, some shit's about to go down.
Yeah. So with this character here, I don't even know her name. Like, probably like 75% of these characters, I don't even think officially have names. But there is a strong presence, it looks like, of the Imperial Security Bureau, or the ISB for short. You've seen Yularen in A New Hope have that. You see Director Krennic have that white uniform. It's a commonality, and with the Death Troopers, so they're trying to flesh out these spies, I'm guessing. So I'm very curious to see more of this female officer. A new character added to Star Wars, and that's always a good thing, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, definitely. Hey, who knows? Maybe this is like, like you mentioned, Chris. Like, they're sniffing out a spy. Like, maybe this is where we have, like, maybe she's on looking to, like, wherever Cassian, and Cassian's getting nervous, like, it's going to be something like that.
All right. Now, I don't know what is this?
This is cool. I know. I was like, okay, this has got to be Braca, because you have, like, the same ship that is cutting, and Braca being the planet in Jedi Fallen Order where it's like the junk planet that's breaking apart the Republic cruisers and turning them into the Star Destroyers. This would take place about 10 years after the events of Jedi Fallen Order, if we're looking at the timeline roughly. But that's not to say there's not other salvage planets. Right, so I mean, the galaxy is a very large place. Not all the wreckage in the galaxy can go to a single planet, but I don't know if you have anything on this one to say, man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I thought the same thing too, Chris. I was like, man, that's got to be most likely Baraka, and like, also, why not? Like, it looks like it could fit the bill. I mean, this week you have Cameron Monaghan talking about how he'd be open to, like, playing that character in live action. So, like, you have all these little, like, connections to Fallen Order. Like, why not have Baraka in live action? And then, it kind of sets a it gives them a model to work off of. Like, we saw Mustafar and Kenobi, like, things like that. Like, you have those models like set. So like maybe this could be their first live action model of Baraka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bad Batch, video games.
Yep.
Eventually, it's gonna make the live action jump there.
Oh yeah.
Now we have another image. Now, the reason why I said Brock as well, because this character to the left of Cassian has that same almost uniform that you've seen some of those people have, even in the Bad Batch episode, I think, of that yellow and that brownish. They could be part of the Mining Guild, which was also seen in Star Wars Rebels episodes. So, again, the jury is still out, but I think there's good credence that at least there's going to be some connections to Jedi Fallen Order. I don't think we're going to see Cal Kestis running around here with BD1 or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it's the Star Wars canon, so they're bringing stuff in.
Could these like, I guess, scrappy people be connected to the group from the Bad Batch that go in and get wiped out by the Imperials? Like from what's his name? The main bad guy. The main Bad Batch,
Hunter or not
Crosshair.
Oh,
Crosshair.
okay.
So when I think it's like the first episode or second episode when Crosshair goes in and wipes out Saw Gerrera's people or whatever on that planet. Maybe could this be taking place before those events? Like maybe these people are the people that get like taken out in Bad Batch.
I think that's way too far-fetched. That seems like it's like way too much of a stretch. The same people.
Hey, we got Bale and Rogue One going, hey, I'll see you guys on Alderaan.
Now, I want to take a look at this ship. This has got to be a YT Corellian freighter, because I'm looking at this beautiful ship, and it reminds me of a cross between the YT 2400 and the YT 1600, aka the Outrider from Shadows of the Empire and the Millennium Falcon. And it looks a little bit like the Vault Cobra, which is from the comics that Son of Staros flies around the galaxy as a smuggler. It's just a really cool design. We're gonna see the back of it towards the end of the trailer here, but damn, if Tony Gilroy, the creator, the executive designer of all, director of all this stuff, is doing a great job of letting the illustrators design some new Star Wars ships. It's always great to see.
No, it looks good. It looks gorgeous. It actually kind of reminds me of the ship from oh my gosh, what's the first Star Wars games that came out under Disney? The Jedi Battlefront 2.
Battlefront.
The second game where the ship from the that squad, the Inferno squad. It kind of reminded me of their ship.
Their ship. I'm trying to remember what it is.
It kind of looked like it was called like the Corvinus or something.
Oh, the Corvus.
The Corvus.
That does kind of look like that.
Oh. Yeah, so the person that's flying the ship, I know he's got a name, but it hasn't stuck in my head yet, but this is the guy.
He's the father to that Bill Skarsgård kid, and then like Alex Stargard guy. They pretty much the kid that played the guy that played it. This is his dad.
Really?
And then the guy that played oh my gosh, dude, he played the Huntsman or Northman and just came out. Like he's the older brother to the Bill guy that played in it.
Wow, that's really cool. There we go.
Yeah,
we got
this
our film knowledge here on the podcast this week.
But
I like this. I'm getting a feeling that this character could be like the father of the rebellion as we know it, because it looks like they're building him up. He's got that relationship with Mon Mothma. In this trailer, you'll watch him, and he's basically the one. It looks like he's going to be recruiting Cassian Andor into the ranks of the early rebels. So, a character we've never heard about particularly, but they're going to retroactively, I think, make this guy an unforgettable character. Where we'll be getting references to this character probably for all this stuff in the future. When it comes to books and comics, we'll get references to this character about if it wasn't for this guy's sacrifice, because whereas in Rogue One, he's probably going to die. If it wasn't for so-and-so's sacrifice, the rebels would have never existed, and when Empire would have been ruling for a millennium or something like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to go down with this character for sure.
Yeah. No, same here. Like, he looks pretty interesting for sure.
And this got me smiling when I seen this good old character. One of my favorite obscure side characters in all of Star Wars. It's one of the two brothers. You have Benthic Two Tubes. This is Benthic Two Tubes because Benthic Two Tubes is the guy that's always carrying the sniper. And then you have Edria Two Tubes, who is the pilot that you see would be piloting one of the X-wings of the Caverns Angels. Cavern Angels. Yeah, I think that's pretty sure that's their little Saw Gerrera's partisan squadron, if you will. But yeah, these guys were also featured in Solo. So we know Solo was about 5 years before this movie. So that gets me to believe. And I just had an epiphany thought right now. I think we're gonna see Enfys Nest because this guy was with Enfys Nest. You know,
Mhm.
he was with
That's true.
Enfys Nest. So where is she at? Like she could be the other side of the camera right now for all we know.
That's actually a very good find there because she would fit the time period. She wouldn't be like shoehorned in. That would actually fit really well because even when we did our commentary about Solo, we even mentioned like where's she Enfys Nest after this. I think I even asked you that, Chris. Like how much is she really in canon? So maybe she is in this. Like and they slipped her character in here because it would fit the timeline.
Yeah, Erin Kellyman can play ball with Disney. She's already been in the Hawkeye series. No, sorry, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yep.
She's going to be a big character in the Willow series, so she's playing ball with Disney on Disney Plus. What's it to get her? Maybe she's not going to play a huge role, but maybe she could be in like one of the shots in like a Rebel meeting. Just something
Yeah.
very simple. They could get her on set for a single day when she's doing Willow. Oh, come over here to this, and we'll have you film this. Actually, no, that it's not that easy because I know they're filming this like in England or something.
Well-
but maybe on a soundstage. I don't know.
Or even just a one-off episode, like because I do feel like we're getting 24 episodes of this show in total. Like we're gonna get some guest appearances. I feel like from big-ish characters. Maybe not the biggest hitting characters, but like I could see, an Enfys Nest one-off episode like the Bo-Katan episode in Mando season 2, like the first Bo-Katan episode. I could see them giving us characters like that. Excuse me, for like one-off type appearances because I don't think we're gonna get 12 or say 24 straight episodes of just Cassian and Mon Mothma. Like sure, of course they're like the main characters, but I feel like we're gonna be getting some of those guest appearances, and Enfys Nest would fit.
Hell yeah, and I think if you're doing a story, this is called Andor, but I'm just, you might as well call this the beginning of the rebellion or something because we're getting a
Yep.
Mon Mothma story. We're getting, as we see in this next shot here, we're getting freaking Saw Gerrera. And we heard the rumors. I mean, Forrest Whitaker even, I think, confirmed this in an interview from like some like overseas podcast or something like that. But why not show us all the different aspects of the rebellion? A rebellion, especially in the fledgling rebellion, it's got Enfys Nest and the Cloud Riders, and you got the partisans of Saul. You got Mon Mothma, who's working things from the inside of the Senate, doing the political stuff. And then you have whatever this revolutionary guy that recruits Stellan Skarsgård's character. So you could potentially have like 4 or 5 different like sub factions that by the end of this all kind of coagulate into one rebel alliance, right? It's the alliance, like it's the coming together of these different disparate groups that are all suffering under the empire and need to come together to like band together to more strength together to fight this thing. So I think this show, you said it dawned on me, it's like 24 episodes. That is a substantial amount of screen time to really dive in deep. This isn't just a 6-episode miniseries like a lot of the Disney Plus Marvel stuff. We have substantial time where we're going to be able to have these one-off episodes like you mentioned, Ben. And we don't have to feel like we're rushing to the end because, oh my gosh, there's only 5 episodes left or something, right? So it's going to be good to see how that reacts, how we get to see the different structure of a Star Wars TV show in general, doing it a longer format.
Oh, for sure. I feel like with Saw Gerrera specifically, I think we're going to actually get what Mon Mothma's referenced about him before, like in Rebels and in like Rogue One, like things like her referencing he's an extremist well, like, have we specifically seen that in the Rebel context? Like, why does she view that? So, like, maybe we get something in this show with Saw Gerrera where he, like, messes up something. Like, say the Rebels have something planned and Saw Gerrera and them take it a little too far and, kind of messes up an entire plan. Like, maybe we get, like, kind of the backstory of why Mon Mothma is viewing Saw Gerrera that way.
Yeah, that was a big thing in Rebels.
Yep.
That episode when they were basically like raising voices like on the base of Yavin, like, oh crap, what's going on here, you know? And this is the magic of Star Wars, just the connections to other things that have come before, and seeing one of my favorite designs in troopers is the good old mud troopers, the infantry troopers of the Empire, making another appearance. Again, 5 years after Solo, so these guys are still working alongside the stormtroopers. I just love the look of these guys, like that good old like World War I trench warfare goggles, flanged helmet, and just like bulkier armor. Pretty cool.
No, it's a gorgeous shot, and that when I saw this just now, it made me think of World War I, World War II. It actually kind of reminds me of the Wonder Woman 1 movie.
Yeah.
Just how
good
entrenched
call.
they were. But it's nice, and we all know George Lucas and his inspiration for Star Wars and for the Stormtroopers was Nazi Germany, was World War I and II, and looking at that whole time in our history in the world. So it's nice to see that, because this feels like this can be like in the trenches somewhere, or maybe like walking down the streets of like Germany or something, them marching. It's cool though to see this.
Oh yeah. All right, so moving on from here, we got our different kind of transports. These are like the evolution of the LAAT. It's the Republic gunship. So we see them going down to a planet. We've seen these ships before in the teaser trailer. They even had the Lego at Star Wars Celebration of these things. It's going to be a real big chase sequence between Andor and I think his name is actually Luthien, the character's name, now that I'm trying to recall. So again, more cool Star Wars spaceship designs, and it's doing a lot more than the other shows have done, I would say at this point.
Did you say these were the old Clone War ships?
I think they look like it, right?
They look like it from the back.
Well,
yeah, because they have shorter wings on the side.
Yeah, remember from the teaser too, it showed it from the side angle, and it looks like it. So I feel like it has to be, maybe along with, say, that the clone troopers being in their phase 2 armor, we're gonna get the more updated version of like the LAATs. So yeah, I think it's a great shot, and like you mentioned, Chris, it's just another example of like showing more Star Wars vehicles, because I don't know about you guys, like, but for me, like, the more Star Wars vehicles the better. Like, along with like, to me, it's like aliens and vehicles in Star Wars, like the more of both of those the better.
Oh yeah, that's my bread and butter of Star Wars, is the vehicles.
Yep.
Now, we talked about this guy a little bit earlier, and I'm saying this guy because we're looking at like everybody's got a body double in this world, and this guy looks a hell of a lot like Sam Witwer. So I kind of made the joke on Twitter, but then people were like, "Oh my gosh, no, is he joking? This looks like Starkiller." I don't think it's definitely not Starkiller, but I was like, damn, this guy could do a good body double for a good old Starkiller if we never needed him to be.
I mean, you're not wrong. Just looking at this picture now, like I can see how people would think it's Sam Witwer or his stunt double, and clearly this guy's not a good guy, unless they want to troll me and make me think that I'm an idiot. But he looks like he's part of the Empire.
But here's the thing, and I don't know who these guys are. I don't think these guys are part of the Empire. I wish I had a better image. Yeah. But we've seen these guys in a previous trailer where they have this dark armor, but it's like there's like a red edge on the armor. Going down, so it's like dark armor with like a red edge like going down, so it's like it doesn't look completely Empire, but they're bullying these people around this other planet. So I don't know if it's like a private corporation, a private entity, security force, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it maybe being that, but I definitely don't. I mean, like you mentioned, Milton, this guy definitely doesn't have good intentions at minimum.
Right.
Yeah, so this is back at that planet, most likely, of the certain uniforms. Interesting, these guys, they were being bullied by the same guy, just showed you who was in that different kind of armor. So that's a cool alien. It almost looks like the changeling from Attack of the Clones, Zam Wessel, when she's like in her
Oh
alien
yeah.
form, like the bigger mouth. So I'm wondering if that is a Claudite, because that'd be cool to see one of them again.
Looks
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like a Planet of the Apes type monkey, like the original movie.
that does. Gosh, now that you say that, that definitely does look like that.
And it doesn't get old looking at a new version of Coruscant, I will say. It
Let's go.
doesn't get old. You got the
That's fire.
elevators, you got the ships above all the way in the space lanes. The reflections look fantastic. Just the whole ambiance of it looks amazing.
Well, even looking at the shot, do you think we'll get, and it's just me speculating or guessing, do you think we'll get any type of elements from the canceled game of 1313 if they're going into like the lower levels of Coruscant?
I do want to see. Yeah, I hope they show the lower levels. The only thing we've seen so far is the fact that they're working in the Senate. You know, we've only seen
Mhm.
shots of the Senate so far. So I hope that they go into the underbelly of Coruscant. I hope they do get to do that, but
Well,
that'd be
I
awesome.
think they might be able to do that just because think about it story wise, guys. Like Mon Mothma could be the whole thing of like say Mon Mothma and Cassian are meeting. Cassian's like, hey, you stick with the politics stuff. I'll go to the sketchy area basically, and like and they're taking it on from both fronts.
Mhm.
Could
Maybe it's
be,
that.
yeah. I would like to see. I would like to see like basically what we see in Rogue One, the first introduction
Yeah.
of Cassian on the Ring of Kafrene, walking around is very dank, steamy, just full of derelict type things and dingy people just all over. I want to see that in the lower levels, 1313, or doesn't have to be there specifically, just anywhere in the lower levels.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Oh man, I love seeing Lambda class shuttles in live action, and this thing looks freaking beautiful. So this looks like it's by a Zeta class transport that we see going to Scarif. I wish I could make this brighter. I could have, but I didn't. I don't think this is Coruscant. It's on some industrial planet.
Corellia, maybe?
Oh, that'd be cool. Because at this point, yeah, Corellia would be under Imperial command, so
Mm.
that'd be nice. Maybe they're checking in on the development of some newer kind of Star Destroyer or something like that.
What I wonder too, with a lot of we've seen a lot of industrious type places. I wonder if we get any like side. Where was I can't remember. Where was the whole TIE Defender project at?
Oh, that was at Lothal.
Oh, that was at Lothal. Never mind. I was gonna say maybe we get like a TIE Defender factory thing, like where Cassian's like sneaking around or something. But
Hmm.
never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. Seeing a TIE Defender, that'd be a little too early at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's the same character, so it's interesting because there's a time jump here. This guy has much longer hair than we've seen him earlier. And, that's like, oh my gosh, like you're talking about the length of that guy's hair, but it's noticeable. So we're speculating. It's gonna be a time jump. He meets casting and we see a little time jump somehow.
Yep. I'm calling it. I think the first 3 episodes you're gonna get the time jump like 2.5 episodes in, I think, or 2 episodes in.
Yeah, and he does look a little bit older than he did in his first picture, so
Yep, and here we see, not Cassie, we see Mon Mothma with Luthien. There's a nice little speeder behind them, and they look like they're good friends. So there's no animosity. They are in cahoots together.
she's such a hottie.
But we see in Clone Wars, like, how Mon Mothma was already trying to get something going with Padme, trying to get something to go with Bail. There was that deleted scene from Revenge of the Sith that this same actress happened to be in. So it's cool to
Right.
see that story come in full circle to see how that's all going to come around,
Yeah, I forget what they called their group. The petition of the 99
Oh.
or something, or I forget
Yeah,
what they're
something
called.
like
Really?
Yeah, it's some type of group that they started. I forget what it was called. Something 90. I have to go back and look.
Yeah, it definitely had a distinct name.
Yeah.
Now, this is great because they are putting this in a trailer, which means there's going to be some good old Star Wars space combat, and I will stand by my words. Is that Rogue One Scarif third act, specifically with the flagships of the Empire and the Rebellion, was some of the best Star Wars space battles ever. So it's great to see like this show is going to try to hopefully live up to that legacy and that milestone and that movie, that feature film did for the Star Wars saga. And this ship looks so cool. Like this, again, like the back of that ship looks like the freaking Outrider. Like it's got that blue stripe. It's augmented drastically different than the Outrider, but it's like, oh, it's another Corellian freighter. And I freaking love Corellian freighters, going back to the Millennium Falcon. But then if you look above, I didn't get a great shot of this. You can find a better look, not much better look online, but that is a certain type of listening post ship that was in Star Wars Squadrons. It's a type of like spy ship or something. Again, like the ISB is going to be very prevalent in this series from the looks of it. So it's cool. Like this rebel spy guy is going to be trying to take it out. Apparently, this was like one of the design of that Star Destroyer type ship was one of the initial designs of the original Star Destroyer. It was like a concept. I don't know if Macquarie did it or somebody else did it, but again, it's cool seeing, Star Wars borrowing concept ideas that never made it all the way 50 years later.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I think with the concept stuff, a lot of it has to do with maybe like the technology at the time to be able to make some of these ships, some of these ships even just work on screen. So like I think that's why they're doing that specifically. But like you mentioned, Chris, to like start this shot, like it's great just seeing an old-fashioned Star Wars space battle. Like that's something Star Wars needs.
Right.
The Rogue One space battle is up there for me. Like it's in the top probably 3 best space battles, because I still think Return of the Jedi is the best one, and then I would say Rogue One's probably like 2 or 3 for me. So like it's right there. And I think there's potential like for us to get some really good space battles in this, just based on this one shot alone.
Heck yeah,
this is a gorgeous shot. We need this. Like this would be a very highlighted moment of the particular show for sure if it's playing out the way it should.
Yeah, we got Dark Nerdy Gonzo and Jesse Bennett in the chat chatting away, so thanks to them, and you guys can always be part of the chat when we go live. Moving along. After that space battle, we have another shot. Oh my gosh, this shot of Coruscant looks so cool. Now we are starting to see in the dark, dingy areas of the Coruscant skyline, all the way down below, the darkness there. Will we go there is the question. But just panning around this image here.
Love it. Anything with Coruscant, you got me hooked. Like it's just this planet, like it's pivotal to Star Wars.
Oh, I completely agree. I think the cool parts, like I feel like we're going to get a lot of really cool details with this show. Like say, we're getting this Coruscant, like the dirty sides of Coruscant. Like I think there's a lot of potential, like just cool details that we'll appreciate maybe in this series. Like, say when Cassian's sneaking around, we're getting, he's walking by Imperial propaganda and stuff, that sort of like those type of little details I think we're going to get in this show. And that's, they'd be brought out in a place like Coruscant, especially.
Right.
Heck yeah. All right, moving along here. It's kind of sad to see that Imperial logo on the whatever you want to call that thing that the Mon Mothma is in the Senate, like her little desk or whatever it is. It's like, wow, yeah. This is the Imperial Senate now.
No, again, but I like what we're seeing. This looks like this is what we need to see, because I want to see the politics of what the Empire's like.
Yeah, because it's gotta be useless, because no matter what they say, it's the Emperor has the complete control.
Exactly.
He's just like, yeah, we're gonna make it look like they have some kind of say in this tyranny and this, empire, but they really don't. Whatever they say, I'm gonna end up doing what I need to.
He definitely needed the Republic Senate to be around so he can keep up appearances, but also he needed them to maintain that order until he got his people in place. Like that's why they were very specific to say in New Hope, he's like, the Imperial Alliance is no longer. We now have the governors. So
Yeah.
I think it took him time to get his people in place.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Jesse
mean-
Bennett is saying, I love that we're going back to the Senate chambers. Politics have always been a big part of Star Wars, and we finally get to see more of it. Yeah, completely
I
agree,
agree.
man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Not
completely.
when I was a kid. Not gonna lie. So Revenge of the Sith was 2005. So I'd have been a senior in high school, and this is when President George Bush was our president. And I used to joke with my dad and my brother. I'm like, dude, I ain't gonna lie. I think George Bush is Palpatine. Because I was like, yeah, I think he's manipulating the whole war in Iraq and blah blah blah. And after seeing Revenge of the Sith, I'm like, yeah, he might turn us into an empire, dude. Like, and of course I'm being an idiot, because I'm like, oh, it kind of does kind of line up, but I'm a dumb senior in high school just doing stupid shit. So, yeah.
That's great.
This is important for me. This simple scene of, hey, there's a party, Mon Mothma's there, there's some bystanders. This is what I like about things like Game of Thrones. You know, it might seem boring to some people, like, oh, it's just this talking scene. But these talking scenes can bring out the most of the characters. They really can. And it shows the universe and stuff we haven't really had in Star Wars, like dealing with the politics like this.
Right.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
for sure.
But here's the thing, though. If people want to complain about politics, they're the same people that focus on our politics here, and they know that irritates them too. So it's like, why don't you just? I'd rather watch politics that's make believe and actually interesting compared to like real politics that just stresses you out. You know, does that make sense?
Oh, definitely. Like there's so many people that like worry about that stuff, and I feel like it just comes down to like the execution. Like look at how much of Game of Thrones has like slower spots in it with political type contriving, conspiring things. Like, as long as the dialogue and the tension of the scenes work, that's all that matters.
Exactly. Well, people love, was it House of Cards?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
House of
And
Cards.
like that's a political, and I love that show.
Yeah.
West Wing, such a good one,
Yep.
Yeah, this one's cool. It's, again, this show's called Andor, but we are getting so much cool Mon Mothma action that I would have never thought I would say we were going to get when I was 10 years old or something, right?
I'm fine with it. She's a good-looking woman. Show her all day.
But that's
there we
cool.
go.
I like this like cool and contemplative moment where she's just like chilling in her living quarters or wherever that is. Like, obviously she has a lot of money, judging by the state of this huge chandelier and everything above her. But it's like a badass power move. Like she's like, yeah, I'm in control kind of thing.
Yeah, she definitely looks the part. I love that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, just more, I like you mentioned, Chris. I think it's going to be a lot of almost feeling like it's like a co-star show between her and Cassian.
Death Troopers doing what they do best, search and destroy, going through some location. Don't know what. Probably going after Cassian, but I could be wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, anything with Death Troopers, I'm locked in. As long as they're wrecking people and not missing on purpose, I'm good to go.
This is that woman from the teaser trailer. Again, another character that I do not know the character name of. But she says something profound at the end of the trailer. I just wanted to showcase that, yes, she is still prevalent in this show. Don't know anything about the character, but, wanted to include it nonetheless. And
yeah, No, but I don't know who this person is.
This is our new droid, though. Something B2EMO or something like that. I forget exactly what. All I know is emo droid. There's some letters before it. But it's interesting, the design of this droid. It's not sleek. It's not, off the assembly line. It almost looks like maybe somebody could have put it together. I think it could be Cassian's droid, or maybe he just put it together himself, like assembled it, different parts, it's a cool idea, a droid smith type of thing. Kind of looks like a mailbox.
It's dope. Yeah, it looks like a mailbox. Maybe it looks like it folds into itself too. Do you see that?
Yeah, maybe it's our pre what's his name? Like maybe it'll be Cassian's type droid before from the guy from Rogue One, the droid.
Oh, K2SO.
Yeah, K2SO. Maybe it's like the pre buddy cop thing that's going to be with Cassian in this series.
Oh, yeah, we got Aaron Daly saying, I'm really looking forward to seeing more Mon Mothma. She's such an underrated character. Glad to see her get more screen time. I
Yep.
agree.
Exactly.
This is, again, there's so many new characters. I love it because oftentimes we're like, yeah, it's great to get like cool nostalgia from old characters, but now we get these new characters we could play with that might show up later and give us those same nostalgia callbacks later on in something else. But yeah, she looks like she's playing the part of a pretty sly spy, maybe? Just walking around what looks like could be Coruscant, judging by like the stark white lights. I could be wrong. Maybe it's on Chandrilla. Maybe it's on Corellia. Who knows? But I like the costume at least.
Oh yeah, I feel like she could be a spy. Could be. I mean, she's definitely going to be a at least some type of a player in this. Yeah, I would say probably a spy based on just the looks of her. Like maybe it's because I think a lot of these people we're seeing, they're going to form Cassian's crew. Because I think he's not going to just be going solo, of course, through this whole series. So maybe a lot of these characters we're getting introduced to are like the buildup of, say, Cassian's pre-Rogue One crew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
That's interesting. Here we go. We got another Cassian without beard this time, looking quite young in this one. So they're playing around with the flashbacks. Give him a beard to kind of get closer to Rogue One. Take the beard off if we want something a little closer to his time in the Separatist Alliance or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure they maybe use some of that de-aging tech. They're gonna have to
Yeah.
at least slightly. I mean, because he doesn't look old in real life. I mean, they're gonna have to use it slightly just to touch him down a little bit.
This is all, yeah.
No, go ahead. You're good.
This next one's awesome because it reminds me of something from Mission Impossible. You have these rebel spies rappelling down on a grappling hook or something of that nature, just like jumping down this building.
Oh, is that what they are?
badass.
I didn't notice them in this picture.
Yeah, they're jumping. They have this rappel line. They're just like jumping off this building, or this
That's
bridge.
pretty
It
dope.
could be.
Batman style.
That or
Yeah,
Goldeneye.
basically.
Yeah, GoldenEye. That's true.
Yes, GoldenEye. All right, this is like a different species that has been getting a lot of attention online. People are like, "Oh, it looks like Ochia Bestoon and Mouse Kanata had a baby," because kind of does. It's
That's-
weird.
That's
Is that-
really funny, actually.
Is that Cassie in there? Who is that? Or
No,
somebody else?
it looks like some person with red hair.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But anyway, we got a new species in Star Wars. It's kind of like Dexter Jetster, but without the bulkiness, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, bulkiness and his stained shirts and his ass hanging out.
But speaking speaking of species, I mean, we have the legendary Neil Scanlon working on this. If you aren't familiar, he's the one that created the concept designs of all the things from The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, Rogue One. I think he basically did every feature film, but I guess he hasn't been used with Mandalorian stuff. So I'm excited to see legendary Neil Scanlon doing the work of getting brand new species involved with Star Wars from his perspective.
Right.
Oh yeah, always a good thing introducing new species. You know, like I mentioned earlier, they just are an integral part of Star Wars. I mean, look, as we discussed the documentary earlier, the ILM documentary, like Lucas talked about how important those species were. Like when they brought the different figures to him and were like, "Hey, which one do you like for the cantina scene?" Because he literally talked how the cantina scene had to work. Like the species had to work in that scene to make the scene play out right, and that's what happened there.
Oh yeah, this looks like something from the movie Avatar. Kind of like, I don't know. I'm getting that vibe. Like if she had blue skin, kind of like it reminds me of like just like the clothes she's wearing and the fact that she's like in a jungle and she's got a staff. But you could also say it's like kind of like Rey because the way she's holding the staff at one point is the same way she'd be holding it against what's his face, Finn when she first meets him on Jakku at Nima Outpost there.
What's up with the girl? She got a soul patch on her face.
Yeah, that looks strange.
Maybe that's like some war paint. I don't know, but Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Jesse Bennett also agrees. Looks like very similar race staff from TFA. Well, I'm very interested. Is that the same character that I thought could be could be Poe's mom, or is this a different character? They do have a poster out for Andor, and it's cool. There's actually more female characters than male characters, so I think that could be a first for Star Wars, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, the female characters aspect, and then even I liked in that Diego Luna interview this week, he mentioned, how he kept his accent because he wanted the representation of like the Latinas and stuff. So I thought that was great that he mentioned that as well.
Oh yeah. And this is our last image here. There we go. This is as epic as it gets. This reminds me of the imagery we got when they were escaping Jeddah with the Death Star just like doing the one ignition cell and just like causing the cataclysmic like crust of the planet to like envelop on itself. It looks like that. I'm like, how the hell do they have the budget to do stuff like this and the space scene? Like, this looks incredible. They're pulling out all stops. I don't know how they're doing it with even more episodes, double the episodes of Obi-Wan. They're somehow pulling off better special effects from a trailer.
I think, honest to God, I'm gonna just come out and say it. I think they're starting to understand we can't skimp on that money when it comes to making the Star Wars.
Yep.
Because we got to put Mando money into these other shows. Like Mando season 1 and 2, they weren't made cheaply. Okay. Then all of a sudden, so even looking at like some of the Disney Plus stuff, it gets kind of, or Marvel stuff, it gets kind of weird in their budget. But we see like in Obi-Wan, that was probably one of the weakest things were like the sets and how it was very much like, we're seeing atmosphere. We're seeing budget. We're seeing money put on the screen as it should be because it's Star Wars. This ain't 1977 we have to use popsicle sticks and Scotch tape. That makes sense why they have to do that. You have digital technology. Use that money and make this the best environment because this is what George Lucas wants. This is his legacy. He tells you in the documentary how digital is important, special effects is important. Put the money in it because this is a great shot. This proves right here how dope this show is going to look.
For sure. Like for me, the thing with the whole the special effects and the shots and the scope of the shots especially, I'm so hyped for this show just for, we're going to actually see like expansive storytelling. It's going to feel like the movies, feel like Mando. And to me, it's almost like the whole disappointment and like kind of shaking my head. Like really, like, don't get me wrong. I'm mega hyped for this show and everything, but it's like you put this type of budget into this show, but not Kenobi. Yeah. Like an icon. It's like it's just kind of like it's just a head scratcher of like there's a lot of unanswered questions I feel like in terms of the behind the scenes budgetary things, but like for this show specifically, like all of these shots look phenomenal. It looks so much better than Kenobi or Boba Fett, and it's just not even close.
Yeah, and that's just scenery wise. I mean, again, we don't know the story in itself.
Yeah,
but it's like just for what it looks like. We're seeing that they're not skimping on that bread. Listen, let's be real, Disney. You're not hungry. You ain't losing anything anytime soon. Okay.
Yep.
All right. You got plenty of bread. Okay. Because we keep coming back to you. We're giving our money away. So spend that money on these shows. It's worth it because we're going to watch them. You're going to get that revenue. So just put the money in it.
Heck yeah. Okay. So while you guys were chatting, I did end up pulling up the official poster we have here. There's a lot of characters on this, man. A lot.
But here's the thing, though. This is tradition, and maybe this sounds negative. I don't mean it to be, but this is pretty much the same format they've been using for a lot of Star Wars posters over the last 5 to 7 years. You notice how it's very triangular.
Yeah.
The one major character, the semi-major character. So you got the lead, then the semi-lead, and the other ones rounded out, and more of the lesser characters. This is the same formulaic is what I want to use. Formulaic format of the poster. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but it doesn't really excite me any more than what I already am, if that makes sense.
Yep. To me, it's kind of just your run-of-the-mill I hate to say generic, but it is. It's your just run of the mill generic solid poster. It's not horrible, not amazing. It's just fine. It's just good.
Yeah, it's definitely not trash. So I'll make it very clear. It's not a bad poster. It's just very formulaic and how it's been structured. You go back to The Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi. It's all the same, you know,
Yep.
which is fine. It works for them. It's like, Ben, you've referenced it in our podcast. Bill Belichick, do your job. If it works,
Yep.
it works. They're doing their job.
Yep.
It works for them. So we're
Yeah.
fine with it.
Yeah, so that is basically it for all the footage that I have from the trailer. I thought it was substantial enough to chat about because there is a lot in this trailer that I thought was very cool from a story speculation perspective, but also from just how it looks. You know, sometimes you just gotta look and see the beauty of some really cool Star Wars spaceships and cool character designs. And it's very simple from that perspective, but hey, a lot of times that's all we need. That's all I need. So there you go. And here's the thing. The next thing I want to talk about before we wrap things up. We got the trailer. You know, we were all hyped up. August 31st. We are in August now. Yeah, Cassian Andor's coming out this month. But wait, they pushed it back to September 21st. But now we're getting, instead of 2 episodes, we're getting 3 episodes. Doesn't make sense because I know people, I don't know them personally, but I know people have seen 2 or 3 episodes already. So it's not like it's not like these episodes, they're rushing to finish them. Like they're holding these back. My assumption is because they're kind of afraid of House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power taking too much steam away from Andor, which is kind of crazy when you think about it because it's like, they're not like movies. It's not like how Solo is going to get cannibalized by Avengers and then it's going to lose a lot of money. Like streaming services, it's not imperative that you see the new episode of whatever on the first day it comes out. That's not a big deal. It's just they're trying to get more people to buy into the service. But they still want that hype word, that the hype to go around. I guess they figure if they're the last of the big things to release, maybe the recency of that will allow it to keep gaining steam past everything else. So I thought that was interesting. A little disappointing, but the cool thing is we're basically going to have a Star Wars movie to watch on September 21st together, collectively across the world, watching something big and bombastic as what we've been talking about, from the visual effects shots, the cinematography, the amount of characters, amount of perspectives. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, Ben, I know you had something to say about just what's going on with the delay. Slight delay, but it's not even a month delay. It's just restructuring where they're going to put this around.
Yeah, to me, I don't know. When I first saw it, I just kind of rolled my eyes at like, here's another delay for Star Wars under their belt. Like that was my initial reaction. And then also like of course you have those other big properties like Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings and whatever else going on, the Marvel stuff. But to me, I like kind of disagree with the whole, they're worried about viewership going to other shows, etc. Because for the most part, not to like generalize fandoms, but like Marvel fans are probably Star Wars fans. Lord of the Rings fans and Game of Thrones fans probably dabble in Marvel and Star Wars. So I feel like they'll get their viewership like one way or another. It's like, to me, it's like, you're Star Wars. You shouldn't fear,
Nothing.
quote unquote fear. You shouldn't fear anything. Like you should, for all intents and purposes, go and release this on the day Game of Thrones comes out. Do something. You shouldn't be scared of other franchises. And like, to me, it's like the viewers nowadays, it's not like going to, as you mentioned, it's a streaming service. It's not like going to the movie theaters, everyone wanting to go opening weekend and shell out, say $300 million or whatever for a movie opening weekend. Like it's a streaming service. It's paid for. So like, it'll get the viewership. And for example, it's not even like me speculating. It's proven, like when so like the Kenobi numbers, for example, like when they took in the Kenobi, the first 2 episode Kenobi premiere date, they took in the viewership from that Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was like that weekend viewership is how they did the numbers. So to me, it's like, if you're going to take the viewership from like 3 days or so, or like, why worry about it? Because, there's some people realistically who are not going to watch Andor, Game of Thrones, any of these shows, the exact day it comes out because it's the middle of a work week or something.
Mhm.
I mean, given I feel like Game of Thrones, I'm not sure when they are. They'll probably be Sunday night like they used to be.
I
But
think so.
okay, so Game of Thrones, see, like there you go. Like Game of Thrones, that'll take care of itself on Sunday nights. I'm not sure the
Sunday.
other. I'm not sure the other shows' release dates.
I got the dates
such.
right here.
Okay.
And I do want to interject real quickly.
Yeah.
Because I think we're ready to kind of move on, at least from scheduling. Not quite. So now there's like an interesting switch. She-Hulk is now coming out on Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what your schedule's looking like. Everything has its own day. Wednesday it's going to be Andor. Thursday is going to be She-Hulk. Friday's Rings of Power. Sunday is Thrones. So like everybody has their own day at least now.
Yeah.
For me, as somebody that will watch this stuff the day it comes out, I'm gonna be a little bit alleviated because I don't have to like sit there and watch 2 or 3 things in the same day to be a part of the discussion and not get spoiled all the time.
Yep.
So I'm like kind of like happy, but it makes sense because when Obi-Wan was coming out, Ms. Marvel was like not doing well on the numbers. It did great on the critic response. I love the show, but as far as the numbers, I don't think it was doing as well as it should have because Obi-Wan was cannibalizing on itself. And I was saying this from the beginning. Me and Ben were like, why are you putting out Marvel and Star Wars on the same freaking day? It makes no sense. If you're trying to get day one viewership,
Just split them up.
like, because that's what Jesse Bennett in chat is saying. Maybe they were looking for that day one viewer numbers. Then split them up. I mean, yeah, I get not everybody's watching things on the same day, but for those of you that are, it makes it a little bit easier. I mean, why not? I mean, if nothing else is coming out on Thursday, put something out on Thursday and not have it all crammed up in one day. I don't know.
Yeah,
I do.
I mean,
I do just want. I'll throw in there real quick, Milton, before your point. I do think though, this will have long-term ramifications because after September 21st, I'm not sure how many weeks, 9 weeks after that would be, but it's going to push back Bad Batch probably much farther.
Think?
Oh yeah, I bet you because like I talked about, like sure, Star Wars shouldn't fear cannibalizing or like going against other shows, but I do feel like if you release a live action Star Wars show and an animated Star Wars show on the same day, the live action show will cannibalize the animated show's viewership. So to me, I think that's going to push Bad Batch back to say October 20. I mean, like if you think about it, so 9 weeks after the release of Andor is about Thanksgiving. So if you release Bad Batch, say mid-November, late November, that can run clear up until The Mandalorian comes out basically at the end of February. So, I think Bad Batch is going to get pushed.
I think they should have animation for Disney Plus release on Tuesdays, live action Star Wars Wednesdays, live action Marvel on Thursdays. There you go, problem solved.
Hey, there you go. But Milton, your point. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was gonna say like just give me the damn show already. Like I'm tired of these delays. I'm at this point I'm used to everything being canceled or delayed at this point. So don't even give us release dates. Honestly, I'm being dead serious. Like stop even hyping it up for release dates. Say,
just come out and say it's coming out tomorrow. Just drop it on us.
Exactly.
Yeah, there we go.
Like, I don't need marketing at this point because I'm gonna watch the show. Because I feel like every other week there's some type of cancellation or delay or push. I mean, how many times over the last year and a half has half the DC properties been pushed or delayed and now recently canceled some of them?
Batgirl got flat out canceled. Like they're not even releasing it.
But nobody wanted to watch that.
But I mean, that's just your point though.
Michael Keaton was going to be on as Batman. You got the Gordon was going to be in that. I think that was actually pretty good.
I probably would have watched it eventually. Again, just like with Miss Marvel, I would have watched it eventually. Still haven't watched it yet, by the way. But even with like Marvel, how many times they push stuff? So it's like at this point, stop committing the dates, make the damn movie, make it the best thing you can or show, and then say, hey, in a week or two we're going to release it. That's when you should let us know, because we get this. I guarantee you, in 2 weeks, something else is going to get pushed, because it is what it is.
Well, Milton, forget 2 weeks. Probably in 2 days on Monday, something else will get pushed for Marvel, DC, or Star Wars, just because it's like, I feel like we're just so used to it by now. Like there's always something getting canceled, something getting delayed, and it's like why can't these studios just plant a flag and say, no, our show is getting released this day, deal with it? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
Andor's done. It's not like they're reshooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we're in an era, for me at least, it's an embarrassment of riches as far as TV is concerned. I'm watching Better Call Saul. I'm watching Resident Evil. I got Sandman that came out today.
Don't forget Tales of the Jedi too.
So, if it's not one show, I'll be watching another. But yeah, I mean, that's about does it. You guys got any final thoughts on Andor or anything else for what we discussed today? Other than that, we'll wrap it up.
No, I'm good, man. Just ready for these shows to come out. Stop playing around. Quit these delays. Come on, give us a show.
Yeah. So you guys on the channel, you can find on youtube.com/Starrapter my review for Star Wars Padawan. I think it's one of the worst Star Wars books. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, go ahead and check out that review, because I, for once, didn't do a spoiler-free review on a book because I had to get my thoughts out on that one. I know Milton's going to enjoy that one. So it involves using fake force.
Yeah,
I think I watched a little bit of that video, and I think I don't disagree with you if it's that bad.
Yeah, we'll definitely tell you more about it after.
Well, no, because I feel like I've heard some of it. Is this where they kind of insinuate that he might be gay or something?
No, that part I don't care about, because actually I think that was taken
Milton,
out of control. That wasn't really.
So Milton, this is coming from a guy who just listened to Chris explain the spoilers. Spoiler alert to anybody that is listening right now, but you can listen to one of the worst Star Wars stories possible. So basically, these people that these kids that are younger people that Obi-Wan runs into on this planet, they're eating these orbs of power, and they're like getting kind of force abilities, but it's basically like kind of cancer where it's slowly killing them. That's like how it took out their parents. So it's like, what are we doing here, Star Wars? Like why allow that type of a story to even be in existence? And like when Chris was explaining this story last week, I was like, man, I would have loved to see your reaction, Milton, if you would have bought this book with your money and read it. Like,
no, yeah, I ain't gonna even listen to. You know what? I'm gonna watch your spoiler fully and be like, all right, this is trash already. Like that sounds stupid right there. Because I'm like, why would you eat something that's killing you? But all right, it killed your parents, but I'm gonna eat that though. All right, that makes no sense.
Well, they basically said, oh, our parents, that was their dying wish, is to follow our example. But they died.
I'm gonna tell you right now. My younger sister just had her first kid on Wednesday. There's no way my sister's gonna tell her daughter, if she's happened to be passing, hey, my dying wish is for you to eat the same food that killed me too. Stop. Well, that makes no sense.
Here's the thing with that whole. Here's the wildest part. That book is actually it was like on the New York Times like top 100 list last week when it came out.
I couldn't believe
it ain't gonna be on my list. So,
but the crazy thing is, like the author, like not to like dunk on the author or anything, because hey, it's creators and their stories. But she even knew like the backlash from it, because if you notice, she's turned off like half her tweets. Like you're only able to respond if she follows you. Like, so, it's just the Star Wars community. It's like that to me. It's the whole thing of our analogies. Like when you talk football, like, you're getting too cute with your play calling. Like you're doing a trick end around, reverse pass, toss back to the quarterback, back to the running back, throw it.
It's
way
the Seahawks throwing on the 1 yard line.
Yep, that's all it is. Like you have an Obi-Wan Padawan book. Like how can you mess that up? I just
Marshawn Lynch, just give him the football on the 1 yard line.
Here's where I think here's where my discussion earlier on in the episode came back to haunt us, because I was talking about tie-in books. I feel like this book was obviously rushed. They had a deadline. Let's give it to this upcoming. I don't know if she's upcoming. I don't want to discredit her. Let's give it to this young adult novel author, and she'll come up with something. And I guess maybe she hit a roadblock or something, and they wouldn't push it back. And they said you just got to finish it. I'm just coming up with speculation. This is not anything I know of. Just being clear, but I don't know what could have happened to have this happen. I'm going to address Jesse Bennett's comment. That raises a whole new question. I might have to read this book now. Yeah, so basically what happens is they conveniently tie off this planet. The planet gets enraged. It's a living planet. When these kids take too much of this orbs, away, the planet gets angry, and it's a symbiotic planet. So the roots of the trees go into these orbs that then the creatures eat the orbs, and then they get frenzied. And then there's this guy that used to be on that planet with these kids that left the planet. He comes back to the planet with Dexter Jester to mine the planet to get this stuff. And then he mines the
It
planet.
sounds stupid. Bro, I can't even hear this right now. It's so dumb.
The
I know,
guy
I'm just
is
watching
the
Milton.
guy is the uncle of these kids. He just decides, I'm going to eat as much of this stuff as I can get. He turns into a Dragon Ball Z character who goes, power level over 9,000 or something like
Shut
that. And
up.
it's like,
I'm done.
he falls into the thing. He falls into like, what is it?
So bad.
The thing from DC, it's like the pit where Joker goes in and Ra's al Ghul, it's the Leviathan pit.
The Lazarus pit.
It's like a
Lazarus pit.
Lazarus pit. He falls in, he comes out, he's like purple goo. And then he's like lifting up
Holy.
boulders. He's lifting up boulders over his head. Obi-Wan uses the Force to flick a little pebble into his head. He drops the thing and kills himself.
I'm done. That's stupid. Don't yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna watch
And
that
then-
video now. I'm sorry, Chris.
And then they all have to get off the planet because the planet gets really angry at that point. They fly off the planet,
That
and then
is
the
incredible.
planet turns into a star. They can't go there anymore.
That's
Milton,
trash.
so basically,
Trash, bro.
so basically, if Lucasfilm and Disney, if you're watching, and Kathleen Kennedy, if you guys are watching, my full interpretation from this podcast is scrap every upcoming live action show, and Milton is requesting you do this as a live action 10-part series.
If they do, oh my God, I'm not even joking. Like I'm tweeting, I'm Instagramming all day because that's trash.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not, no disrespect to the author. I'm sure she's a very nice person. And she has really good ideas in the story about Obi-Wan and his like battle with like, does he belong with the Jedi Order? Qui-Gon is not like being a great mentor from his perspective, but the entire time this was like a test by Qui-Gon to make it like so that Obi-Wan would go out and do something and break the rules a little bit, because Obi-Wan follows the rules too much, whereas Qui-Gon is more of a maverick, as we know he is, against the Jedi Order and all that sort of thing. So there are really good ideas in here, but it's just like the execution was poor.
Trash.
Yeah. But hey guys, that's a fun way of wrapping up the podcast, having a good laugh.
Oh man, I have like tears in my eyes just explaining that. Laughing so hard doing that. But all right, so if you want to see that review, go on the channel right now. It's up there and you can watch me talk about that yet again. And I have my review for Summer Vacation on the channel. So there you go. What I'm doing this weekend, I might try to restructure some things in this room Star Wars wise. I'm gonna have to go and get another bin, because I've gotten to the point where if I want to introduce new Star Wars collectibles, I unfortunately have to pack away some old ones to make space for the new ones. So I didn't want it to get to that point, but here we are. So that's what I'm doing this weekend. What are you up to this weekend, Ben?
Yeah, for me, nothing too much really. Just kind of chilling, catching up on shows, and I'm probably gonna watch the new Predator movie over this weekend, because I'm super excited for that. So probably gonna watch that. And then I'm looking at potentially starting the Sandman show, because I heard people talking about that today. I think that just came out today, or it might have came out yesterday.
Today.
Okay, so that show, I might look into that one. And it's, like we discussed last week, I feel like shows are coming out in such rapid fire succession. It's like hard to keep up with. I'm probably gonna watch one of those two. I'm gonna at minimum watch the Predator movie, and then we'll see what comes next. So between that and then just working out like normal, working out, meal prepping, just kind of like the norm. Nothing too extravagant planned for this weekend, really, honestly. Just kind of chilling. So anyone listening, if you want to talk Star Wars with me on Twitter, you can find me at RealBenMaynard. And if you want to find my workouts and just keep up with me working on getting shredded, you can find me on Instagram at RealBenMaynard as well.
There you go. What about you, Milton?
It's going to be a chill weekend, man. It's going to be my first weekend officially back, obviously with vacation being done. Just going to get stuff done around my place, watch some shows if I can, get a workout in tomorrow. But other than that, just be chilling. Going to actually get an opportunity to see my new little niece who was born on Wednesday. So hopefully I get to connect with her and her mom and her dad. That'd be nice. But if you guys want to follow me, I am on Twitter at MiltonWeber7 or on Instagram at Milton7Weber.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, man.
So you're an uncle
Appreciate it.
to that child as well as another one or two?
Well, I have a godson who lives in Florida who I visited last week. I have a couple nieces and nephews, but this is my sister's first kid.
Oh, cool,
So,
cool.
Yeah.
There you go. And make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. As I said, we go live every Friday around 9 o'clock Eastern, and you can find us on any of your podcast platforms of choice. Just search Outer Rim Transmission. New episodes go live Monday mornings. So with that being said, that's going to do it for Chris, a.k.a. Starrapter, Milton, for Ben. Thanks to everybody in the chat, to Jesse, Dark Nerdy Gonzo. That's going to do it for Outer Rim Transmission number 69. Be safe, everybody. May the Force be with you in transmission. Alrighty.